All right. Again, welcome to Ordinary Voices. Today, we got a guest, I think. So before I jump on to my guest, my friends, again, I'd love to welcome you to Ordinary Voices today. My name is Peter. I'll be your host. And with me, I was expecting to have 3 other guests. Obviously, they might join us shortly. But briefly, let me introduce Ordinary Voices. So this is a safe, inclusive platform for everyone across the globe to discuss issues affecting their communities, propose local solutions, and mobilize like-minded individuals to implement the solutions. So this platform brings to light the voices of too often ignored grassroots problem solvers from communities impacted by policies for the development of their countries and the globe. And today, obviously, just like I have highlighted, I'm expecting 3 other guests. So with me, I got Nisreen all the way from Lebanon. So Nisreen just flew all the way from Lebanon to join Ordinary Voices today. So Nisreen, do you want to jump on and introduce yourself to the audience or people who will watch us a little bit later?
Of course. Hello, Peter. It is so nice and I'm pleasure to be back with you again. So this is Nisreen Amouriye. I flew all the way from Lebanon to be on Ordinary Voices today, as Peter has mentioned. It is a pleasure, honestly. So this is Nisreen again. I'll be representing the Youth National Development NGO, which is an NGO that has been initiated in the late December 2022. So we're new, but the impact that we have done throughout these years was huge. So I am part of the executive member board, and I'm one of the startups and one of the people who initiated this NGO. So it is a pleasure to be with you here today, Peter. Over to you, my friend.
Thanks, Nisreen. You know why I'm excited and I'm smiling? I know we caught up sometime back in 2020 during the Global Week for SDGs, you know, and that has been exciting. I've been seeing what you've been up to. And when you signed up to be part of this session, I'm like, oh, this is going to be really nice to catch up on what you've been up to and a few other things. So what have you been up to, Nisreen? I'm just curious. You didn't tell us that.
Yeah, honestly, ever since we were in contact, we were together in 2020. It's like 3 years back, and we have changed. We have evolved. I was keeping up with all your posts on Facebook, and I saw the initiatives that you're leading and everything you have been doing. So for me, on a personal level, I have started new journey with the UNESCO as a digital communications officer. I have initiated the Youth National Development. I went on exchange programs. I went on exchange volunteering programs as well in different countries. So it was really a transformative journey on a personal level as Nasreen. And I am clearly looking forward to see where this person will be in the upcoming years. And I'm pretty sure that we are on the same track, Peter, because I know that you are passionate, you are determined, and you always keep that spirit among us going throughout the WhatsApp groups, through Facebook, tagging us into posts just to have a look on that, participate in that. So I'm really glad when I saw your message that Ordinary Voices is having a webinar today. I was very excited to be here with you because I know I have missed the spirit that we have. I missed the conversation, and let's keep it rolling.
All right, thank you. And I'm also excited, Nisreen, to just be connected again, you know. I know other 3 guests, when they join us, we will hear about themselves. But yeah, it's always really nice to catch up and to keep the they call it the humanitarian spirit going. So that's really nice. Yeah. So I'm just, carry on, Nisreen.
Now over to you. I want to hear what you have been doing so far. I know I've been keeping up with you on Facebook, but let the people know.
Oh, okay. For me, obviously, Nisreen, obviously, you see football for peace everywhere. So I've been tacked on that. So obviously this year we got a number of things. Obviously, I will dive into that shortly. Maybe I need to pull my slide up for you to just have like a quick look. So I hope, Nisreen, you can see my slide out there.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can.
Okay, good one. So for today, my guests, so we are only going to dive right into this Ordinary Voices November episode. And for today, we are looking to discuss or talk about making decisions with impact for non-profit organizations. So why we came up with this topic, Nisreen, I was just doing a bit of research and found out that we have over 10 million non-governmental organizations across the globe. Yet we have a lot of things going on. So you are wondering, like, why are we having so many non-governmental organizations, yet we have a lot of issues to deal with? So I wanted to hear from young leaders like yourself. Are you making key decisions? Are you making decisions with impact? What is the process like? So we will dive right more into that. And this was just a list of my guests, of people we were expecting to tune in today. And I'm glad, Nesreen, you made it. Other members
My
might
pleasure.
join us, yeah, to catch up with us on in terms of this discussion. But look, 10 million plus
Wow.
non-governmental organizations across the globe. And we are also joining the league. Yeah, so you look at Global Youth Forum. Currently, we are a non-governmental organization, and in a few years' time, or call it 2 years, we should transition to a non-governmental organization. So we wanted to hear from youth leaders like you again. Are you making decisions with a consultation with the stakeholders, or are you just making decisions? So we'll dive right more into that to hear more about. But here, this anchors the topic for today. 10 million non-governmental organizations, are they making decisions with impact, or are they just talking around number of things? Again, look, we are at halftime, meaning we are 7.5 years midpoint towards the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals in Nisreen. And I'm told that we are only 15% of the SDGs are on track, okay? But if we continue making decisions aimlessly, not involving the stakeholders, for us who are working with young people, are not engaging the young people, are we really going to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals? But I want to pause there really quick, Nisreen, to ask, which sustainable development goal are you passionate about and why? So then our audiences can also hear a bit about your SDG. You are mute. You can unmute, Nisreen.
Yeah. So basically, we work on sustainable development. And regardless of what we have been planning now, our main focus is on SDG. So each project, each small activity that we tend to run is related to a specific SDG. But the thing is that I am more passionate about SDG 3, which is good health and well-being. And this is community service activities, plus SDG 11, which is sustainable cities and communities, because we believe that having more inclusive, safe, and more resilient communities is a pathway to success as well. So I'm passionate about SDG 3 and 11, and we tend to work on them closely when planning all our projects and whenever we take a decision, and to relate that each project is related to a specific SDG itself.
All right. I like good health and well-being, because Nisreen, if
Yeah,
we are not healthy, then we can't do these things. And obviously,
of
sustainable
course.
cities and communities play a
Of
key
course.
role on these things. Personally,
Yeah.
obviously, I'm passionate about goal 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And then you come down to goal number 1, no poverty. And then you combine that with goal number 4, quality education. And those are my passion goals. Obviously, all the goals are interrelated,
Of
if you see what I
course.
mean.
Of course.
Yeah, one goal impacts the other. So if you are working on this other goal, you realize you are touching on this other goal and you are touching on the other one.
You
So
know,
the goals, yeah. So yeah,
yeah,
so there we
you
go. So
know,
as I'm carry on.
yeah, I wanted to add is that whenever you work with a specific targeted group, which is youth, then you cannot actually go with one SDG and just eliminate the other. They're all interrelated, especially that you are working with youth, and they need a lot in terms of all the SDGs. They need to understand. We need to target them in specific SDG and a specific activity, which is interrelated among the other SDGs. So this is why we tend to work on all of them regardless of what preference do we have.
There we go, Nisreen. Yeah, they are all interrelated. So when working on another SDG, you realize you impact another SDG. So then a quick one, and obviously I'm coming to you one after I share this one. For Global Youth Forum, if you look at our programs, through we got 5 major programs, but 4 thematic areas. We call them the 4 E's, which I will share shortly. But through our life skills coaching, mentoring, and sports program, Global Youth Forum, we equip young people in Kenya, and in Kenya we have 47 counties, with necessary skills to help them either secure a job or create their own businesses, generate income, and improve the quality of life. So meaning if we do this, Nisreen, they are able to live a stable life. So again, I will pause there really quick and then say, now, which organization do you represent and what is your long-term, for example, mission statement or something you are aiming to achieve in long-term?
Okay, may I share my screen?
Why not? Go for it, Nisreen. You can now share.
Okay, looks perfect. Yeah. I'll walk you through our Instagram because I see that it's more engaging, it's more of what we have been working so far. So I come from the Youth National Development NGO, which is based in Lebanon. Our slogan is basically one team for youth, one spirit for development, one heart for volunteering. And this is why I always like to highlight that our main target group is youth, and our main things that we do are basically community service projects plus building the personality of youth through life skills trainings. And this is why we have created the Y&D Academy, training academy. So we have targeted so far around 200 volunteers across Lebanon, which is a huge number that we are working with. We have initiated sets of series of life skills trainings into how to be prepared for the job market, on personal skills, the inner skills, plus the social skills, in order to prepare a well-rounded personality of a volunteer. Because we know that the impact, the future of our world is in the hands of these youth. So we tend to work on both their social and their personal levels. And as you have seen, we have started as a small entity. We have started with around 20 volunteers, and now we are 200 volunteers, and it's actually a huge number. Our projects are very different, are very various, and they are interrelated in our community, because Lebanon needs a lot of assistance, needs a lot of projects. And as you may have seen here, that we have people who traveled abroad. For example, my colleague Hassan has traveled to Jordan to a training session. And whenever he comes back, when he came back, he did a training session on media, for example, for the youth. We have also hosted a number of Lebanese people who were abroad, and then they came back for us to promote the culture in Lebanon. We work with different stakeholders in Beirut and in Lebanon and across the globe. So basically, this is a briefing of the Y&D, because our mission is basically related to what we believe in, because the people who initiated the Y&D are youth. They are basically my friends and I. We were sitting and we were like, okay, now we need to work closely with youth. We were part of an entity, and then we saw that maybe our objectives didn't align that much. So we planned together to initiate a platform, to initiate an NGO. It was really hard because, Peter, having to register an NGO takes a lot of preparation, funds, the logistical aspects of the registration of an NGO. But hopefully, with the help of everyone, that they knew who the youth were behind the NGO, we were able to register our NGO. We were able to go with funds. We were able to establish a project, send our volunteers abroad, receive volunteers, and go globally. So this is like somehow a highlight from our year as Y&D, and we are proud to call it an achievement. And the best decision, I might say, that a group of youth might take is to initiate something that is sustainable with an impact, which is the Youth National Development for me.
All right. I think that's a detailed description, Nisreen. And thank you again for sharing that. And I'm glad you are taking that initiative. And again, it is through the spirit of volunteering that we connected, Nisreen. And I'm glad you are
Of course.
keeping that. Yeah, you are keeping that spirit going. So again, congratulations for keeping that fire going. So again, there we go. So again, I was just describing a bit about our initiatives, and these are the things we do. We have 5 major programs. So one being Molding for Work, where it is 1-year program where young people within their third year or fourth year or just fresh graduates go through a 6 months training and another 6 months in work support where we hook them to our partners. And obviously, Nisreen, I do love sports. So sports for SDGs, focusing on football for peace and archery for the goals. And today we are on Ordinary Voices, where we have an inclusive platform to bring voices like yours to share what you do to impact your communities. And maybe your organization might be interested. Which sport do you love, by the way, Nisreen, if you look at that one there?
Well. So I think that you don't know about me.
Tell me about
National
it.
record. I hold the national record in track and field. I run, but on the same note, I'm also a basketball player. But our volunteers are basically very interested in football. So we have also created a series of projects that are related to football in exact. And we had a volunteer abroad from Italy. He was a European Solidarity Corps volunteer, and he was part of the trainings. So I think we're on the same page when it comes to sports as well. But I'm really not passionate as much as you are.
All right. Okay. Now we got a deal there. I see Matthew has joined us. Matthew, I will come to you shortly. But there we have, obviously, we are not doing all these sports. We are focusing on football, and then we are building something on archery for the goals. And then obviously we can share our good practices with you so you can thrive in terms of sport. So again, looking at our vision, we want to co-create with young people. And here I mean co-create, Nisreen. And probably now this is now where we anchor this conversation. Not a bit about talking about working with young people, but asking them to bring their ideas and considering their ideas, not just using them as a, what do you like, tokenism. I hear people speak about tokenism and things like that.
Yeah.
You bring your ideas on table, they pretend that they are listening to you, but on the other side, they do their own thing. So we want to co-create solutions with young people. So I know, Nisreen, you've been there. Matthew, if you are on, please feel free to introduce yourself before we dive into the flesh of the conversation for today. You can turn your camera on and mute, say hello, so we can know exactly where you are joining us from and the organization you are joining us from today.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Chukwuma Matthew Ogonna. I'm from Nigeria, West Africa. Matthew is the co-founder of Social Human Development Foundation, and I'm glad to be part of this. Thank you so much.
All right, there we go. Nisreen, have you met Nisreen before?
I really don't know Matthew before.
All right. Okay. Matthew, have you met Nisreen before? All right. Okay. So now then, before we dive right in, on today's conversation, I know we just have a few questions that we might want to dive in, but your general views, do you think these over 10 million NGOs across the globe, Nisreen and Matthew, here it might be a yes or a no, and then we will dive right into the conversation. Do you think they are making decisions that impact people positively everywhere, or they are like a little bit behind in terms of making decisions with impact?
If I may go first, I think that there's a huge difference between an NGO and its agenda and why did it establish. Because from a personal view, I have seen a lot of NGOs that were established just because they want to receive funds, and they're not non-profit organizations anymore. They are profit organizations, but under the coverage of a non-profit organization. So their decisions are basically more profitable. and they're basically, whenever it's profitable, then it's somehow not related to an impact. All they want is to have a business throughout the NGO. So I think it's a huge problem. For my case in Lebanon, it's a huge problem. But globally, there are a lot of NGOs that are working on the impact, on the decision making, and having an impact with youth, and having inclusive societies, and doing transformative activities. But on the contrary, we also see organizations that are still in this traditional mentality. We take the decision, you follow, we do this activity, and then you follow, which is not the thing that we want. And this is why puts us behind when achieving the SDG goals, because because we are somehow not engaging youth. At some point, we are just having to do what we want to do, and this is why we are setting a backlash when it comes to achieving the sustainable development goals. I don't know if it's the same in your country, but in my country, we have a lot of leading organizations that really want to work. But on the contrary, we also have organizations that are set to be only for profit, or just for having benefits, or just having a name in general.
All right. Very elaborative there. For my country, I will jump on and share shortly. But Matthew, do you think these non-profit organizations are making decisions with impact, or they are just making decisions out there? You can unmute if you want. Okay. So for me, Nisreen, I think if in Kenya alone, we might have, say, over 10,000, or say over between 7 to 10,000 non-governmental organizations that claim to be working with young people. I know they do some good job. I know they get youth into conferences, they get youth into meetings, but after these young people get into these meetings and conferences, share their feedbacks, share their thoughts, share their ideas, and then these youth go back to where they came from, only to realize that something, realize that something else is being implemented. So you then sit down there and wonder, well, I took part in this conference, I took part in this debate, but where are these ideas coming along? So you realize that they're just using people as, just like we are working with youth, so we bring them into the room, but then in terms of implementation, they don't implement those ideas of young people. So I will pause there and then allow Matthew also to. Matthew, are you on there before we jump on to the first question for this segment? Okay, Matthew seems still.
I'm here. Yes.
Yeah. So Matthew, the question was, do you think the non-governmental organizations are making decisions with impact, or they are just making their own decisions that are just for them and not in incorporating the people or key stakeholders?
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for this wonderful question. This been one of the questions that a lot of persons have asked. Yes, I will say yes and no, because some NGOs are really making policies that really work towards the betterment of individuals, especially the underserved communities. I'm here in Nigeria, just to mention, we have a lot of NGOs, and you see the activities they do, and I will say yes, they all work towards achieving a particular aim, helping to assist people who are really not in the canopy of the government. When what I meant by that, there are some communities that the government do not really pay attention to. No easy access. They don't even know that the communities exist. Just to let you know that some of the internally displaced persons are being kept without any care, and these are where the NGOs are really coming in. They engage in advocacy visits, awareness, carrying out project implementation in the communities, especially, like I said, slum and rural areas, the underserved persons. Though there are some persons that just register an NGO just to make money. yes, some of them really believe that non-governmental organizations is just an umbrella where you can really make money, where you can access grants from foreign donors, local and international too. So I will really put more emphasis on those who are really working towards the betterment of the community. Like I'm just coming back from a community outreach, which was done in partnership with other NGOs. And we came looking at the cost of living in the country, looking at how people suffer in different areas, looking at the diseases that people are really suffering from. We thought of that, and then we come together as partners just to sensitize the community, to create awareness on a particular disease, and also to assist them with a medical outreach, free medical services. I think a lot of organizations are really making policies for the betterment of the communities. Thank you so much.
All right, there we go. A very detailed description right there. So I hope you guys are still able to hear me. I'm just seeing my internet is unstable, and I see we are all branded, my friends. So Football for Peace, National Youth Development, and Shasin. So well done, team. So you are really walking the talk, talking the talk, and walking the talk. I deeply love that. And we seem to have blue somewhere. Nisreen is blue, and then Matthew is blue down somewhere, and then I'm in blue, my friends. You guys are going to kill me.
Please stay here again.
Yeah. So listen,
wow,
I got the
perfect,
first one.
Perfect.
So this is the first one. Who will go first? What are some of the two challenges you face as an organization that hinders you from achieving your goals? So for Matthew, we will come to you shortly, but I want you, when you come on, tell us a bit about your organization in like 30 seconds or 1 minute, and then tell us some of the two things that are impact or the two of the biggest challenges that stops you from achieving your goal as an organization. And then Nisreen, Nisreen, you can start us off, and then Matthew, I come to you shortly.
Okay, so I'll start briefly, because if I start talking about my country, Lebanon, and the challenges that we tend to face, then it'll take me a lot of time. So basically, I don't know if you all know, for all the audience, I'm Nisreen, again from Lebanon. So Lebanon is a small country located in the Middle East. And I don't know if everyone is hearing about the crisis right now, or the wars happening in this world. You shall know that Lebanon is also part of the Gaza war that is happening. So our borders are actually being hit, and we are suffering from that as well. So one of the basic things that we have as an organization in terms of challenges is the political instability. We don't have a stable day. I would say that we live each day by itself. We cannot anticipate. We cannot actually understand what will happen the next day. So we might have a program that is placed to be on the 25th of December, for example, and then we have canceled everything because of the crisis. So we cannot imagine how things would be, for example, in 3 weeks or 2 weeks ahead of time. So we plan things accordingly. So one of the challenges is basically the political instability. I know we have planned a lot of projects, a lot of programs that we have really worked hard on, but due to the certain circumstances, due to the crisis, to the challenges that we have faced in terms of the political instability, then we are set back. We cannot proceed with what we are doing. So this actually frustrates us to a certain extent, but then we come to realize, no, we have shifted our programs to be responding to a crisis, helping our communities, and as such. So this is basically a huge challenge that we are facing. We are shifting our programs each week, each month, just to adapt to the situation that we are passing through. This is a challenge number one, which is the political instability that affects our decision making in the NGO, and it affects our running programs and upcoming programs and projects. But I need to say that we are resilient. We are very resilient when it comes to our country, when it comes to our projects, to responding to a crisis, because we know that the 200 volunteers that we have, who are purely dedicated to volunteering work will always dedicate a time to respond to a crisis and to help our communities and always have the best out of the projects that we tend to plan. So this is one. Two, I will go for the economic instability as well because it hugely and highly affects our programs as well. As you might know, that Lebanon has been passing through a huge transformative economic situation. In Lebanon, we have the highest inflation. We have instability in the exchange rates of dollars in coordinates with the Lebanese currency. So we have a shortage of funds. We have a shortage of a lot of things when it comes to the economic stability, when it comes to the economic situation. And the international organizations are somehow not that of contributing to the country because they know that we have an instability and they need to know where their funds are going. So with that, we are somehow not able to continue or not able to adapt with what is happening. But I would always repeat that we are trying to adapt to economic changes, and we know that whenever we have this will, this resilience, then we are trying to accomplish things with all the challenges. And I need to mention that it all comes back to the youth because we tend to take the decision next question. But whenever we want to take a decision, it's never the executive or the board alone. It will always be involved with the youth because they are the ones who are on the ground. They are the ones who will be doing the action itself. So we tend to consult with them. We tend to have their ideas. We tend to plan accordingly to see what fits now and what shall be changed in the meantime. So these might be the challenges that we are facing in a nutshell.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. Matthew, how about you? Two top challenges you face that affect you from achieving your goals as an organization. Jump on.
Thank you so much. Just like what my colleague have just said, the two top challenges that are really hindering us from our activities here in Nigeria. One is government policies. Like we that are into climate education, most often we plan to have engagement with schools, some communities, but some policies made by the government hinder us from that. One, for you to have awareness in school, you have to write to the government. We have for the junior secondary school, the universal basic education, for the senior secondary school, the secondary education board, SEB. And most of the times when you write to them, you will see that you have to wait for some months. Let's say that you have a project that you have planned to attend, that you have planned to achieve within a specific, let's say the first quarter or within a particular month. You will see that you have to wait for government approval, which most of them do not really know the necessity of your project. They do not know why their own is just that this is an NGO, it's not a government program. They will keep your letter aside without attending to it. You can actually go from town to town, speaking with the director, speaking with people, the stakeholders in charge, and you see you're not getting any result. And this is one of the challenges we have, especially in health. There are some health awareness or sensitization that are supposed to be given to the society, but you need some certain approval from the government. And not that you will not write for that approval. The problem will be that they will not attend to that. Or even if they will attend to that, they will delay. So that is one of the major problems we are facing here in Nigeria. The second one is funding. Like she said, funding is a big problem. I will I'll always tell you from perspective. Just finished this sensitization and medical outreach. I wrote to persons wrote to agencies for funding.
Matthew, I'm struggling to hear you. Nasrina, I think you might also be struggling.
Yeah, he's
So
lagging a
Matthew,
lot.
yeah, so Matthew, you might turn your camera off,
was
and
just
then
raised
Mohammed,
$200. That is about 100. Hello, can you hear me?
No, I will
Can you
pause
hear
you
me?
there for a
Yes.
second and welcome Yamin also
Hello.
to probably introduce himself. I will come back to you, Matthew, shortly. Yamin, how are you today? Unmute if you like.
Hello, I'm fine, and you?
We are very okay. So welcome. You will just catch us where we are so we can just keep the conversation going. You might have missed a few bits, but we are on this topic, this question. So for you, we might just ask you, maybe you introduce yourself in say 30 seconds to the audience joining us today. Where are you joining us from? And probably what are you excited for today's session? Yamin.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm Mahmoud Yamin. I'm the founder and CEO of Shulas Organization, International Global Youth Platform. I'm also environmental activist and researcher, international speaker, and inspiring entrepreneur. Now I'm currently working 55 countries in the whole world. My target is environmental, youth development, and women empowerment, and African country and development. This is my first challenge. This is so my whole policy, and the whole time I will observe how can change our environment, how can change our youth innovation and youth development in change by day. Because youth hours, this is the whole impact. And I also say every conversation to the must say, learn today, lead tomorrow, and create a new future world. This is my whole, all the youth, and this conference try to say. Basically, we are working to development to change 55 countries, 500 students to working in this my platform. And so this is a very not easy, but the change by change we can develop the policy, youth forums, and many others to contribute to this policy and this strategy.
Okay, good one. Thank you. I know the only lady in the house will be smiling because she's just heard something on gender stuff. So Nisreen will be smiling all the way. So again, I'm still on you, Yamin. If you were to state one major challenge that you face as an organization that bars you from achieving your goal as an organization, what will that challenge be?
Good question. A lot of challenge from our organization. This is the first challenge at this my organization's program Afghanistan, because we know our Afghanistan women education to develop change all are closed. Women are not our education to system. This is my very challenging progress and policy. How can to real education to Afghanistan women to again education background to change our system and a good sanitation all the whole students. This is a very difficult challenge. This is a 5 days project Afghanistan, the education system project, women, and this is a your generation. One day I was project house village to the conference types. Number second day, this is the impact of the education and how can change. It's a very tough situation. The 5 days is my project Afghanistan, and the second my tough challenging project. This is a Nigeria, and this is a Cameroon, because this is a Muslim country, but Africa is a very difficult country, because we know that many development country, America, USA, any development country show your African development, no issue, no health, no policy, no situation. But this is also it's a highlight, not exactly refuse the solving. But this is solving. This is a policy. How can change the African education system? African the development is change the goals, and this education, good sanitation, women empowerment. This is very important, and this is a everyday challenging this project, and I am solving the plastic projects, and this is the women empowerment development in this Ethiopia, Sierra Leone, many countries are developed and change. So this is my challenging project. Already I am the 10 challenging project almost done, and I'm doing project almost 120 project, 120 project almost done in 55 countries.
Now, you guys have Nisreen, political instability and economic instability. That is the world over. So thank you again for sharing and elaborating that. Matthew did talk about the government policies where they delay in responding to things, confirming a number of issues. And obviously, he also talked about funding as an issue. Yamin talks about the women empowerment and education. So a really good coverage right there. And I must say, you guys, with the mentality you guys have, I know we can overcome these challenges together. So as organizations, probably this time now, if we can aim for 2 max minutes in terms of discussing your processes, I'll deeply appreciate. So how do you guys make decisions in your organization? So like from step one to the implementation. I'm just curious if you can share with us or the guest joining us online who will watch this later, how is the decision-making process like in your organization? So from the time you initiate a decision to the time you conclude. So Nasreen, can we start with you, and then Yamin, and then Matthew will come with you. We will come.
Of course. Of course. First off, I would like to say that Yamin and Matthew, it is a pleasure having you and having to hear a lot from you and learning a lot from your experiences. Now, I'd go back to Peter's question, how the process goes in our organization. So basically, as I have been saying, that the organization itself, it is youth-based. So we are a group of youth that initiated this organization, and now we are proceeding with it. We have an executive board. The executive board consists of around 8 people. These 8 people are specialized in each field. So we have in media, in graphic design, in management, and therapy. And they cover different fields. So whenever we want to take a decision, so it is basically from the executive board that we tend to plan. We tend to plan our upcoming steps, our activities, and then we agree on a certain agenda. So whenever this agenda is set, we tend to go with the next stage, which is the management team. The management team is also a group of youth who are very involved with the volunteers that we tend to work with. So they also come and put their feedback on the agenda, on the agreed upon points that we have. And then we go on the third stage, which is the implementation. The youth, and then the management, which is fully youth, and then having the implementation with the group of volunteers, and then gather their feedback. Whenever we gather their feedback, we tend to sit in the round table, and then we evaluate the decision that we have taken or the project that we have implemented. Whenever we have this evaluation ready, we tend to plan accordingly. So the process is basically a cycle, which consists of in every stage we have people we consult in order to take the final decision into the implementation. The thing is that what I love most is that it's never in the hands of a person, neither a group itself, but a collective work that we tend to achieve, because we believe that people who will implement this project need to have their voices heard. They need to have their actions and their plans being taken into consideration and being planned accordingly. So this is in a nutshell how the process goes whenever we want to take a decision.
All right, there we go, my friends. So thank you for sharing that, Nisreen. Can we go to Matthew and then Yamin? Matthew, again, in a nutshell, how do you make decision in your organization? And then Yamin will jump on as well. And then I will also share mine as well.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
Matthew, try and unmute here.
Thank you so much for the wonderful question. Decision making in my organization is very, very flexible. From the executive to the volunteers, everyone's opinion are being are recognized, the management, the board of trustees, and the volunteers. In any decision that we make as an organization, we do it in such a way that it will be open for all, that the voice of the volunteers are being taken in consideration.
So, wait, Matthew, I will pause you for a second. What is the process like? Like 1, 2, 3, and 4. What is the process like?
Oh, decision-making process in my organization, step by step. First, the executive members have to make a decision, bring out a particular program or aim to be achieved for a particular period. That will step down to the program officer. The program officer will also look at it, and then it's made to the volunteers. So the decision making seriously is from the executive to the programs down to the volunteers. Everyone is being taken into consideration while making a decision. Thank you. I don't know if I said that correctly.
Yes. Now that made a huge difference, Matthew, and thank you for sharing that. Yamin, how is the decision-making process like in your organization? 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like that. Go for it.
Yeah, I got it. Many organization, many steps, many other policies, but my steps and my policy is totally different, because first of all, I'm working in 55 countries, I'm set failure, but every process I will set plan. November work plan, October work plan. I will set all the plan is work plan schedule. First of all, any member to join this organization to how to innovation. First of all, with all this policy, how can change and build up in innovation and idea. Every member to join and share your idea. Number second, this is the how can connecting the other people, because first of all, I'm from Bangladesh, any students to Canada or Australia, to how this bonding to this the schedule to the step 1. First of all, connecting the members and others platform and others country. Number second, 2, every time we set the work plan, because many every day I'm working the 5 projects every month. So basically, work plan schedules to the point counting. This is the one project number 1, 30 points, project 2, 50 points. This is a point counting, because the decision and the change in growth. Yes, and the first step project 50 and got it. Second project 30 months and got it. This is a project schedule and this change. Number 2, decision making. Every student every year to change a decision. How can the change and how can the development? This is decision planning progress. And if number 4 step, managing director, project director, every step to the line setup, because I'm the president to share my idea. Project manager share to idea to the field manager, and the field manager to share idea. This is the whole of members to the working. This is a and example is Afghanistan. My example my share of idea how can change the education system Afghanistan. My idea to share.
Okay, wait,
and
hang on. Yamin, hang on. I'm coming back to you. I love the example, but I love the process as well. I will come to the example shortly, but now we are getting into more of insight of how you guys are making this decision. What's coming clear from your end is like you deal with a variety of people from across the globe, so your approach is totally different. So, and again, Nisreen, I think she got some power cut, and then Matthew also must have shared his insights. So, I see Francis have also joined. When you turn your camera on and we are able to see you and hear your voice, we should be able to bring you into this conversation. So now, as organizations, I know we are several of us in the house. So Matthew, what's the best decision your organization has ever made? And how did it impact your organization, Matthew? And then Yamin, I come to you. Francis, when ready, I come to you. The best
Yes,
decision you've ever made and how it impacted your organization. We might do extra 10 minutes.
Thank you so much. This is one serious question that everyone would like to ponder on before answering, but I will like to tell you one serious decision that we made as an organization is carrying out a project worth millions of naira without approval, without any funding from external body. We really did that project. It is a gender-based advocacy and awareness project. We did it without any funder. We did everything. We fund every from the pre-implementation stage to the post-implementation stage, all funded by us. We did that with our own money. And during the period of this, it wasn't an easy one, because there was a time that we really look at, oh, are you sure we can do this? And we said, no, if we stop this, the people that our target audience will be the people to suffer it. But we didn't stop. We continue and we really achieved that. And it was the impact was very massive, because of the testimonies from the participants, testimony from the host community. So I think this is one of the serious decisions that we made, and really it really impacts to the organization positively. Thank you.
All right, that is insightful. Raising your own money, using that money, and then impacting community. I think that's amazing. Yamin, what's the best decision your organization has ever made, and how did it impact your organization? Yeah, guys, if you can keep your cameras on for the entire episode, that will be really good, so that guests watching us can always connect with you, Matthew and Francis. All right, Yamin, carry on.
Yeah, please again this question, please.
So the question is, what's the best decision your organization has ever made, and how did it impact your organization? In 2 minutes or less.
Okay. First of all, I'm proud of my organization, and second, my every decision is very unique, and my best decision impact the environment and youth development and women empowerment. My first decision, Sierra Leone country to the women empowerment and environment changing program. This is my first decision in my first project also. This is a very tough and decision to the 15 days to grow. This is a women empowerment to handmaking to the making. This is a food making to the clothes. Women empowerment development. This is my whole team to the every day to whole pack in working. This is a type of the how can change, how can this is a still a new country women to can development. This is your family to everything others to the contribute. This is a very impactful. And second one, my decision is to the policy country is the Uganda and Nigeria to the impact. This is a change the city plan development, and this is a free planet. This is a project of 1 week to this is a making some money collection and a plastic with the changing the free planet to also are the making a decision. So the very highly confident.
Okay, good one. Thank you for sharing that. Francis, I know you are joining us from somewhere. Feel free to introduce yourself and tell us one of the best decisions that your organization has ever made and how it impacted your learning institution.
Thank you very much. My name is Francis Tapumpamtale from Zambia. To be specific, on the Copperbelt province of the Republic of Zambia, Southern Africa. My organization is a community school, And professionally, I'm a teacher. Coming to the question, first of all, I would say I'm sorry to join late. The internet was difficult for me to come in time. For our decision-making process, we have got about 6 steps. First, the executive has to sit after identifying a need or an opportunity or a problem. Then consultation is made. After consulting, then this is brought to the parents committee. After the parents committee sits, then the running agents of the school has to be informed. Then they look at the proposals. After that, the director has to guide before we make a final decision. Then we sit as a team to come up with a final decision so that everyone is heard. And if it means failing, we fail as a team. If it means succeeding, we succeed as a team because everyone is there present when a decision is being made.
Right. I like the process. Looks really good. So again, still staying with you, Francis. What's the
please.
best decision you've ever made, and how did it impact your community school?
The best decision that we've ever made. There are several, but we had a challenge. We have a block where we used to keep vulnerable families, 20 families to be specific. Then these families became many and they started giving problems to the school. So we realized that that was a disturbance. Then we sat, presented the matter to the director to say, the decision that we made in the first place to offer accommodation to these people maybe was not good. Then we sat how best we could solve that problem. Unfortunately, or fortunately to us, unfortunately to them, we came to a conclusion to say the best was to remove them from the accommodation that we offered them. How it impacted our school, sanity came to the school because their children were disturbing school programs. And in a way to help them in a positive way, they are now settled independently because we thought they could not afford accommodation, but they have found accommodation after removing them from our institution.
I'm just smiling all the way, like chaos to now the normalcy and stuff like that. Thank you, Francis, for sharing that. It's very insightful, and I know Yamin and Matthew are learning also something from that. So I will again go back to Matthew and ask Matthew, what's the worst decision you have ever made in your organization, and how did it impact your organization? I will come to you then, Yamin, and then Francis, you conclude on that one. So Matthew, you want to start?
Thank you so much. I really believe that we've not recorded any worst decision. All decisions made within my organization are made to suit a particular purpose and to impact people and for a purpose. I will answer that we've not recorded any worst decision in my organization. Thank you so much.
I think Matthew is trying to lie to us, but we will come back to him later to find out if they have not made any worst or made any different, like a decision that have impacted the organizations negatively. Yamin, what's the worst decision you've ever made in your organization, and how did it impact the organization?
I believe this hardworking and this innovation, and this is a good idea. This is the impact whole organization. Any students by any country, by any you are to create organization, and first of all impact your idea development and your innovation, because innovation and idea is a very good. Every day we are challenging in our whole world the any change. How can you change every day? Every person to change by change. How can change our student? How can change our education system? How can impact our health? How can good sanitation? So your idea and your thinking knowledge to change and grow and impact your first of all your organization and your work. So I suggest any youth and any person to create an organization or non-profit or volunteer any some organization to develop your idea and develop your innovation, and some want to help other than and create a new future world and create a new the times changing world, and the whole of the youth and the whole of the educations that impact our the society and the whole world. This is a fast impactful. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Francis, thank you, Yamin, for sharing that. Francis, the worst decision you've ever made, and how
Exactly. Everything has got a negative and a positive part.
Yeah.
Coming to the negative part, we made a decision which impacted negatively on our organization. We embarked on a project to construct a boundary wall fence around our school, expecting funds from the parents, of course, who are the major stakeholders of the school. Then we made a decision to use the money that was supposed to be for administration. Unfortunately, after using that money, then the money we expected never came in good time, and negatively impact, we could not pay the volunteers on time. That was the worst decision I would say we've ever made.
Okay. I think I'm picking something from you here, Francis. When you divert money and then it's a really
exactly. It's not good.
Yeah, it's expecting that something will come on this particular time and then it doesn't fall in place, and how it impacts other things in the organization. And I think combining that with your main things on innovation and technology and stuff like that can really change the way we think on a number of stuff. So on to our last one. Matthew, we will still come to you. I am not convinced that your organization only makes really perfect decisions. I'm still on you, but I will come back to you later, Matthew, on that. So I know we are just running out of time, and I think this was to get us a little bit started on this conversation. And you guys, we might host another session because I'm excited. So if you were to advise, I know you guys, some of you joined late, so you missed a number of things. But if you were to advise a non-profit organization around the world on how to make decisions with impact, what two pieces of advice would you give this non-profit organization? So if each of us can just take 2 minutes to just share a tip or two, because I'm also in here to learn, my friends. I want to learn from you. So what two pieces of advice? I know, Francis, you've shared a bit about diverting money, getting people into accommodation. Yamin have also shared something. Matthew is making perfect decisions out there. What two pieces of advice would you make or would you give to either community-based organizations, schools, non-governmental organization that will help them make decisions with impact? Can we go with Francis first?
Yes, starting with the one you have mentioned, we learned a good lesson to say they should never use money intended for something to use it for another project. That will be a waste decision for non-profit making organizations. Then life is full of dangers and risks. They shouldn't be afraid of taking risks, and they shouldn't be afraid of the dangers, but they should take time to make decisions so that they make a choice that will benefit the organization.
Okay, I like those two ones. So Yamin and then Matthew, if you were to advise non-profit organization, community-based organization, or civil organization, what advice would you give them? Just two of them.
Community organization or non-profit organization to advise is a impact to learn, more learn, and this is a project impactful the other than, and this is good administration, good idea, and this how can they change a donation, because donation is any project work to change a donation, not a donation, not money, we do not any work. First of all, your good administration, good thinking of knowledge, good learn, good innovation, and good team members, because it's teamwork. Non-profit organization is a teamwork, a team bonding. First of all, your team bonding is strong, your team bonding is a good build-up, so you can anything, you any project or any country development, you can always do good jobs. So for I say any country or any youth to I say your team bondings and your innovation, you learn very skillful develop. Your team bonding is very strongly, and your administration, your work process, every work by done step by step one. Number serially, then you can help or non-profit organization or government organization, anything. Thank you.
All right. So from here or from Yamin, I'm hearing a bit about innovation, teamwork, which involves a bit of creativity, and just like working together is coming very clearly from Yamin. Matthew, what advice will you give us? Because all of us are in this sector of making impact through community service and stuff. What 2 or 3 tips can you offer us as non-profit? Matthew, we are on you, I think. Matthew seemed to be unmute, but Francis, did you have, maybe you can have a more chance to add one each, so we aim to end this session, say 5:15, so we just have like, say 5 more minutes. Matthew, do you have some wisdom you can give to maybe schools or non-profit out there?
Thank you so much. Please, can you repeat the question? I didn't actually hear you out.
Matthew, advice that you will give to a non-profit organization that will make them thrive in what they do. 2 pieces of advice.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. One is one, knowing the mission and vision of the organization. Most problem we encounter as NGOs is moving away from our vision and mission.
Did I miss it? Matthew, Francis, did you hear what?
No, I didn't get what he said. I'm a little bit behind. Maybe if you can come again before the meeting is closed.
Hello?
Okay,
Hello?
I will bring him back. But Nasreen, I see you are back. So Nasreen, you found us. We've just gone a little bit further, and we are just finding you just come. We are almost closing the call based on the time, but we'd really love to hear your thought. If we asked, we can just still go back to you. We are not on a rush by any means. We can finish by say 17:15 or something. What's the best decision your organization has ever made? National Youth Development, Nasreen, in 1 minute or so.
Basically, I would talk about a regional event that we have launched. It was the Youth Volunteering Vision. We have launched it on December 5th on the International Volunteering Day. We have gathered more than 70 NGO and INGO in Lebanon, and we have offered more than 500 volunteering opportunities to around 3,000 students in Lebanon. So it was a wide event. We have took the risk because we were newly launched, and we have gathered more than 70 organizations with volunteering opportunities. And it was one of the best decisions that we have ever taken on a regional level. So we had to offer to offer plenty of volunteering opportunities, and we have seen that the impact is still rolling until now. And it was the first step for the Youth National Development to actually be well known in the country and to achieve its goals. So this was one of the best decisions that we have ever taken, and we are seeing the impact till now.
All right, there we go about a big event. And what's the worst decision your organization has ever made?
Wow. I wouldn't say that it's a worst decision, but I would say that we might have an ups and downs when it comes to planning some of the events. But we would always say that it's not a worst decision, rather than it's a lesson that we will always learn from. It is a challenge. So I don't have anything specific, honestly, but there's always an up and down in any work. So it's a challenge rather than it being a worst decision, because you always tend to learn from it. So it's an experience that will help you manage the other decisions in the upcoming plans that you have.
Okay, good one. And then bringing you up to speed with our last session, last question before we have your parting shot. The question is, if you were to give 2 pieces of advice to a non-profit organization or a community-based organization or civic organization, what 2 pieces of advice would you give them?
Wow. First one would be engage your youth, because you're never alone. You won't ever make the job or the work, the program, the initiative itself alone. You have a group of youth who will work with you, who are going to be committed, who are going to be dedicated. So involve them. They have a lot of plans. They have creative, innovative ideas. They only need this space to express themselves. So engage them in your planning, in your decision making, because they are the ones who will bring you up to the level, and they are the ones who will accelerate the implementation and execution of your program. Second off is it's basically to delve into opportunities, delve into risks, because you never know when the opportunity that you once said won't get you anywhere will get you, and will be a transformative opportunity that you will have. So this might be.
Okay, there we go. Now we've brought Nisreen up to speed, so it's a good way to wind up the conversation. So if you are to have like a parting shot, you guys have discussed the decision-making process, not necessarily the worst, but some of the bad decisions you've made and how they impacted your communities, some of the best decisions you guys have made in your organizations, and obviously you guys have introduced yourselves. So now, if you were to have a parting shot to people looking to start non-profit making organizations, or just give like a few tips on how, like, let's say, for them to be successful, or for example, the existing NGO, because like before you joined Francis, we were just looking at over 10 million NGOs across the globe. What will your parting shot be, so that together we can probably work towards achieving the sustainable development goals together, ensuring that no one is left behind? What will be your parting shot? Let me start with Yamin on this one. Then Matthew, I come to you, Nisreen, and then Francis, you close. Yamin, you wanna jump on? Okay, Yamin seems to still be thinking. Matthew, do you wanna jump on? You are parting shot. Okay, Matthew seems to be thinking as well, Nisreen. So Nisreen, we are on you now. You are parting shot. Oh, I see Matthew is there. Matthew, carry on. Unmute and carry on. You are parting shot.
The question, sorry.
You are parting shot. What will you tell people viewing this and they're leading non-profit organizations out there?
Okay, just like I said before, I always encourage my colleague in this space to stick to their mission and to continue doing things that will benefit the society, and not really what will benefit them, since they have signed in as a non-profit. We should continue to do things that will impact our community and our country at large. Thank you so much.
Matthew says, stick to your vision. Nisreen, what will you add on that?
Mine would be, don't look for the people who are in your table, rather look for who is missing on the table, because this is a major thing that we lack in our organizations, is that we need people to be more inclusive when it comes to planning and execution, and when taking a decision.
Okay, who is not around the table? That's a new one. I'm liking that one. Thanks, Nisreen, for sharing. Yamin, what will your parting shot look like? We have Matthew telling us, stick to the vision. Nisreen telling us, look for who is not on the table. Yamin, what are you telling us yourself?
Okay. First of all, my vision is 150 countries SDG 17 goals to fulfill. All our vision 2020 to 2030 the complete 17 goals to fulfill. But my target is 2025 17 goals to complete of first of African countries, and the second one Asia, because it's my challenge and my vision. How can change in every person and every year good education, good health, and good innovation, practical education, because it's my mission. And my also the mission, the 3 million tree country planet. This is the whole world, the 3 million. This is a huge types. So this is my vision and anything else.
Oh, there we go from Yamin. Francis, you wanna bring us home on this one? What will your parting shot look like?
Thank you so much. First of all, is not looking at what is going to benefit ourselves. The pleasure we find, especially us who are helping the children, the future foundation, the future leaders, I mean, and we need to put in all the best to help the young ones, because we believe we are what we are because of others. Therefore, it is about being connected, just like we are doing. A globe has become a village, as people put it. So let's be connected to people who are already running the non-profit making organizations, so that we learn from those people if we are to thrive. I think I ended.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go. We are who we are because of other people. So my guests, Nisreen, Mahmoud, Francis, Matthew, you guys have done a really wonderful job sharing your insights and showing us the way. And I hope this was just a start of this conversation. And I hope you guys can now collaborate. We are all youth organizations, starting from Global Youth Forum to Youth National Development in Lebanon, Shishu Ula, teacher in charge of Mazeri Community School, and then the Global Network Nigeria. We are all community. So I will say this is just a good start for our conversation, and I know you guys have dived more into this. So as we come to the end of today's session, I know we ran over time based on like the internet and so many other things, but we managed to cover nearly all we wanted to cover. But look, a guy here says, Eric Pliner says, decisions lose their power when they lose the engagement of stakeholders. And all of us, just like Nisreen have said, let us engage the next generation, the young people who will really be impacted with these policies, the decisions we make, so that we can all work towards achieving the sustainable development goals. So for you who is watching us out there, or who will watch this a little bit later, do get to us on there. Maybe the team right here might want to share maybe their social media handles and how you guys can connect with them. Who want to share your social media handles so that members can connect with you? Can I go with Mahmoud and then Francis and then Nisreen and then Matthew, you bring us home, and then we can see what we can do next in terms of collaboration going forward. Yamin, how can people connect with you? Maybe you are LinkedIn, or maybe you are Twitter, maybe you are Facebook. How can they find you? Are you on there?
I also connecting in the Facebook, also the 2,000 people, almost my also connecting the 60 countries people, almost my connecting the LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, anything.
There we go.
The huge platform is my connecting.
Okay, so maybe what you guys can do, I have an idea. what you can do, because this is on Facebook Live, we will download and post it on YouTube as well. You guys can put your connections right there, just in case somebody wants to connect with you. But then from me, I must say thank you all for being part of this live session. I must say I must have learned a few things, and I'm glad that you guys made it here. And I know we guys can do a little bit more. So I will end the live stream, and then we can have a quick chat behind the tent just to get to know more about you. So I must say thank you all for joining Ordinary Voices today.
Please picture. Please picture. Please picture.